Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. It is Mike Morowski from My Core Intentions, your host of Thursday Morning Live. And I am joined this morning by John Snyder. I'm excited about talking to John about his real estate career and what he does as a listing agent. I heard John say an interesting comment over the last day or so that he always wanted to be a listing agent. So what we're going to do today is we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about being a listing agent and what that looks like in John's life and maybe what it even should look like in some other real estate agents' lives. Hey, John, welcome this morning. How's it going?
Very well. I'm very grateful for you having me. Yourself?
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I know we had a little technical glitch here this morning, and I think it all stemmed from you having to have to do a walkthrough, which we're going to get you out of that habit right away because that's not your job.
No, it's not. Actually, it's the first buy-side deal I've done in about a year. So
interesting. So, so here's what I know, right? I went into the multifamily business, or I went into the real estate sales business. Let me get over here. Went into the real estate sales business in my first 9 months in the business. I sold 78 houses. It's because I've always believed that success leaves clues, right? And the more that we learn from other people who've been successful, the more we can go and be successful ourselves. So what I did at that time was I went to a real estate agent who I knew who was extremely successful. And I asked Todd, I said, hey, listen, what do I need to do? He said, I'm going to make you a cassette tape and you're going to listen to it. And I listened to that thing. I burned it out, John, over and over and over. But the fundamentals caused me to go into business and sell 78 houses in the first 9 months. And there was no Redfin back then. There was no EXP. There was no technology, right? It was all, you did everything by hand, manipulated things. And so
was that all calling your network?
I didn't know. I went in the real estate business. I didn't know anybody. So John, here's what let's do this. Let's kick this off right now. So introduce yourself, tell people who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your background.
Sure. My name is John Snyder, from Worcester, Massachusetts, which is an hour outside of Boston, second largest city in New England. I'm a 1980 kid. I got really serious. I was trying to be a rocker and roller up until I was 30. 2010, I met Mrs. Snyder. I said, okay, where rock and roll has never paid the bills. I got into real estate, kind of played around with it for about 7 years, part-time helping out some friends who were investors to buy. We got 3-deckers. Our world here in Massachusetts is filled with these 3-story high apartment buildings with 3 units in each. A unit on each floor, and that's just the whole state of Massachusetts. So I did that for a little while, kind of part-time, and then I got really serious in 2017, working back in the backside of the office at Kelleher and Sadowski is a big local commercial firm. So that was kind of my MBA, I call it, in real estate. I saw the backside of not just real estate, but the high-end real estate and the politics of real estate. And so after being over there for a couple of years, helping out in the office, I went back to doing, agent sales stuff, trying to focus on the commercial side for another couple of years. But then the pandemic hit, and that was the end of commercial right away. So I said, well, I know Uncle Trump's going to send me a paycheck, but I should probably try and make a couple bucks in the meantime. So I jumped over to the residential side of things. And in a few months into that, I crashed into Redfin, which I've really been intrigued by this business model since I started in 2010, because I was being taught the old school ways, which are still effective, but I could see the new way coming, the Zillow way coming. And, Redfin, their big thing is they've just restructured everything. They own, I think, the 4th largest app, with Zillow being number 1 and Redfin being number 4. And so they have, as many leads as you can handle coming right at you. And so they've restructured the pay. They give a base salary. They give much smaller commissions. And they claim, I've only been here 6 months, they claim that their agents do better in the net than your average agent. And I'm inclined to think so. And I say one thing for certain, or a couple things for certain, 6 months in working over here. Number one is that the experience is profound. And so just to walk into any given door and say, hi, I'm John, I did 34 transactions in the last 6 months is not something everybody can say. You know what it's like to walk into a door and say something like that. And then I don't know what the pay will be after a few years, but the pay is substantial thus far. I'm very satisfied and very hopeful that I think that what they say is true.
So
but
here's
I'll tell you that for certain in a couple of years.
Yeah. So here's what I'd like to know. How much support staff do you have? So
I have
go ahead.
I have a transaction coordinator. Most of the agents say 8 out of 10 are buy side agents. This is one of the things that they've done also differently. They split up, you're a buyer's agent, you're a listing agent. So all the listing agent leads that come to me, and so I have everybody buy side or sell side has a transaction coordinator. And then for the listing side, I also have a listing coordinator,
Okay.
and then we have a couple levels of managers up at the top.
Okay. But you don't have anybody to go out and do those inspections for you, huh?
Oh, I certainly do. Then I have a whole team. It's like Uber for real estate. They have this whole team of associate agents, they call them. This is
does that cost you extra?
No. So what they do is, let's say that you got a nephew who wants to get into real estate. This is the perfect job for entering real estate. You get your license, you go over to Redfin and you sign up as an associate agent, and you just turn on your schedule when you're free and you turn it off when you're not free. They won't bug you for 3 months. You can turn off for 3 months and they won't say anything. And conversely, if you're on 24/7, you actually don't get that much preference. So it's pretty fair. It's just kind of like who's available for this open house, for this showing, for this inspection. So yeah, I don't need to do anything but go out and meet a client a first time. And sometimes that's on Zoom now. And that's it. Then just kicking it back at home and running the show from the home base.
So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to kind of do a comparison. Are you getting a 3%, 3.5% commission on the listing side?
No. So I can charge whatever I want. I mean, we charge, the going rate around here is 2.5 to each house, right? Total of 5%, 2% for sellers, 2% for listing. We're charging, you can go as low as 2% per house. So I charge my clients 2% for the buyer's agent. And then Redfin is charging only 1.5%. And then if you buy with us again within a year, we'll kick back 0.5%. So you can do a total of 3% commission on a sale with me.
Okay. So is it possible for you to go sell or list 50 houses at the company you're at? And let's not make this about them. Let's make this about you.
Yeah, easily.
Okay. So if you were to do that, what would you bring home at the end of the year when the smoke cleared?
So you have 2.5 pathways to answer that question. Okay. One is if I'm in year one and all of those 50 leads come from the Redfin app, they're all strangers, and I close all those deals. I think you're probably going to be cracking 100K, maybe up to 120.
Okay.
Just kind of hip shot in here.
Don't mind me. I'm going to do some math right now. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Let's call it. Always in the math, John. That's what I always say. Go ahead.
Yep. Let's say 50 is going to give you, on the listing side, is going to give you, give or take, 120, maybe 125.
And what's that average listing price? What's that average house listed at?
Say 433.
433, and you're going to only crack 100 grand?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep talking, John.
Okay. If you're bringing in your own leads, So, right, obviously you can do that a number of ways, including just bringing those people back over time, getting referrals from the first, after a couple of years of sticking with those people, getting the referrals. I think you're talking probably double that. So probably 250, give or take. So year 3, or if you just, go straight for your own network and ignore the Redfin leads.
Okay. So, you'll do 50 houses. You'll add 433 an average transaction, at whatever commission you decide you want to charge, and you're going to only bring home 600, or sorry, over 100.
No, we're set in stone on the commission. 1.5. That's definitely one of the pitches over here.
Okay. So let me enter your world a little bit. So I went in the real estate business. A friend of mine taught me how to be a listing agent. And I knew entering that space, just like you, and my hat's off to you, that as a listing agent, I controlled my business. I controlled my market. I had the ability to control who I spent my time with and how much time I got to spend with them, right? So I did not like buyers. I gave all my buyer leads away. Kind of what you said this morning about, hey, this is the first buyer I worked with in a long time. And you know what? Occasionally I'd work with somebody because I liked them, right? And I had that choice though as a listing agent. So here's what I would do. Oh, by the way, John, I never worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday. After 5 o'clock on Friday, I went home and I shut my phone off, didn't check my emails until Monday morning. And here's what would happen. Invariably, I'd come in on Monday morning, and because I had 25 listings in-house I was sitting on, I'd have 5 or 6 offers, and agents would say this, where you been all weekend? I've had this offer. I said, hey, easy. I took the weekend off. How can you take the weekend off? You've got listings. I said, oh, it's my business. I took the weekend off. People don't like it, but you can control your time. I'd go to my friend's cottage. We'd hang out on the lake. We'd take a long weekend. You know what? Because you can control your time as a listing agent, right? So let me just throw this math at you. You might want to write this down if you have a pencil and paper. If not, I'll just text it to you later, just kind of as a reminder. So, and I'm going to throw this out there and say good coaching.
I know where you're going.
Good coaching could do this for you. $433,000 average sale price. When I was in the business, it was 175 to 2.25. That was average.
Yeah.
At 50 houses, at 3% commission. I know what you're saying, John, right now. I'm hearing you say that you can't take a 3% commission today.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Yeah. When I was doing it on my own, I was always 3% because I'm good. Yeah. No, I'm worth 3%.
You know what? By the way, John,
I'll take all 6.
Yeah, right. And if you really want me to step up my marketing for you in getting your home sold, that'd be another 1% marketing fee. So we can go ahead and sign this listing today for 7%. Will that work for you, John?
Morawski, if you're closing 78 deals, okay, sure.
Okay. So just at 3%, 50 houses at 433 is 640.
Yeah, it's better.
John, if you took Friday, Saturday, Sunday off and you had staff that you paid and it cost you 50% of that number and broker fee and you brought 300 home, hey, what's your wife's number, John? Let me call her right now for you because we know that she'd say, John, what are you doing?
Sure. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. You're absolutely right. So, in the long run, we're going to see where I am in 3 years. I'm tracking these numbers simultaneously. I'm super grateful for Redfin. I think that they listen okay, now let me flip the table. I'm going to sell your house. Okay.
Yep.
I'm John Snyder at John Snyder's brokerage. I'm going to do everything for you. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to charge you 7% and nobody's going to cry. We're going to be giving each other high fives and drinking martinis on the beach. Or same story, but I'm going to charge you, 4.5%. Okay. Which fee do you want, by the way?
Yeah.
Obviously you want the 4.5%. So hold on. So I think that this is where the future is headed to. This is where Redfin is doing it right. Now, coming from, where I'm coming from, my focus was to build a low and slow network, of commercial buyers, which I knew was going to take me a long ass time. And I'm talking about the guys who are buying the skyscrapers. I intend to, I want to see that crowd evolve over the next 20 years alongside myself. You know what I mean? I know that I'm not going to be reaching that tomorrow afternoon. So with that in mind, Redfin pops up and they're doing things the right way that I think the future is headed towards. They own the app, and with that, they can leverage, the prices downwards. So I'm playing it out here. I'm super grateful to jump in, have the pile of leads and the experience that dealing with a pile of leads comes with. And over time, in, like I say, 3 years or so, when the referrals and my own network starts to build off of that, I'm going to be tracking it simultaneously. And I'm sure I'll have a conversation with Redfin at some point and say, hey, listen, this year, on year 3, on year 5, I could have been making 600,000 because everybody here came back to me. They are friends of people that I did original transactions with. So what do you want to do? You want to hang on to me, or you want to see me step out? Or, that's not your choice if I step out, but, I'll cross that bridge in a few years' time. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So, and I say this in all sincerity and joking too, right? That you got it. We all have to do what's right for us, for our business and that, right? And I just know someone like you who could go the extra mile. You said, hey, I want to build this database of commercial buyers. Well, do you believe that the commercial buyer is actually going to come from the residential side? Or would you be better off going and seeking out the commercial buyer? I'm a question guy. You know what? And here's my big thing. My thing is I want
to grow my own. I want people of my generation who don't own those buildings yet. I want to take them through and have a lifetime relationship. So there's zero question when we're 60, 70 years old that John Snyder built it with me, from the 3-deckers to the skyscrapers. And I'm comfortable in the meantime. Is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I see the existing clientele. Not only are they, baked in with their guys that they've been with for 20, 40 years, but they've got habits to unlearn. I'd kind of like to really grow and nurture my own clientele.
Yeah, no, I get it 100% what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense, right? I always, and a lot of times too, when you're getting leads like that, it just makes life so much easier, right? Because then you said I've tried old school and it works, but this is better. And I'm an old school guy. I did a post on social media a couple of weeks ago where 3 guys sitting on the bench, and one guy's got his hands over his eyes, his ears, and his mouth. The other guy over his mouth, and it says old school is still better, and
it's true.
And I just believe that,
cash is king and old school is always better.
You want to meet people, you get on the phone. You want to sell something to somebody, you get on the phone. And I think that people don't do it because there's that lack of confidence, because we don't know what to say. I didn't know what to say in the beginning till somebody gave me a script and said, say these 6 questions, use these 6 questions. And if you learn these 6 questions, you can make them part of who you are. Make these 6 questions your DNA, so that when you're standing in a grocery store, you can say, when you're standing in a grocery store and somebody's looking at the real estate magazine that's in the rack just before the cash register, and you can say, oh, are you thinking about moving? You could go right to those 6 questions, right to those scripts, and now you're building another relationship.
You got those 6 questions? Can you share the 6 questions?
I was wondering if you were going to ask. I do. So the 6 questions are, so what I would do, John, is I prospected, right? I would go in the office every morning. I'd be on the phone by 8:00. From 8 till noon, I prospected every day, 4 hours a day. So here's my numbers: 20,000 dials a year. I knew every time I picked the phone up, I made $8. Okay. 20,000 telephone dials a year to sell 125 listings.
How many per day is that?
I don't. If I worked at 240 a day a year, $83.
Okay. How many of those people pick up the phone?
So this number's changed. So this is a great question you're asking right now. Back then, it was 33% for sure, no matter if you prospected in
Sure.
the morning or you
It was
prospected
before caller ID.
And it was before what's the other thing? The robot, not the where you have you do not call list. It was before the do not call list too.
Right.
So
at that time, the telephone was the social media. It was this thing hanging on the wall that would start ringing at any time of day or night, and you never knew who was going to be there. If it was going to be mom or a robocall, a good salesperson or a shit salesperson, pardon my language, and it would be exciting to answer the phone. You know what I mean?
Right.
A little nerve wracking. You had to answer the phone. You couldn't not answer the phone.
Right. So, and we had different resources, but you know what works today just as good is a video text, because most everybody, and we didn't have cell phones back then.
Video text.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Video text. So you go to your phone, you put the number in the text. Tell me I think I have your phone number, right?
508
No, I got
425 1245.
Hey, John, what's up? We're doing a live right now on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And I'm just showing you how to do video text here so that you can stay in touch with all your past clients. Now, you'll get that in a minute. But so here's what I do. I prospect, right? And every time I call somebody and they don't answer, I leave a message and then I send them a video text. My rate of return is much higher than just leaving a message. So I'm just.
Do you know how it compares to leaving a message and leaving a text, which is what I do?
I don't. I don't. But again, a text is too easy. Listen, when if somebody shows up, I know my buddies do this once in a while to me, is they'll send me a video text, right? And when somebody shows up and you open your text and it's somebody's face, you have a tendency to listen. Yeah, you're not going to just delete it. Where if it's words, I'll just delete it sometimes. I
think that's smart.
Yeah. So I just think, how do we use technology to our advantage, right? Anyhow, so I'll give you those 6 questions, but I'm going to give them to you offline, because I want anybody who watches this, that if they want those 6 questions, call me, because whether you're prospecting or not, these 6 questions are the questions that you need to have be part of your DNA so that you can have the conversation. See, it builds confidence. When you know what to say and you can talk to somebody at a cocktail party, a Christmas party, in the grocery line store, at a work function, it changes your whole perspective on how you can build your database. Because you alluded to this early on too, which is really important. And I didn't learn this lesson early on. 3 years I was in the business and it was churn and burn for me. So I had a lead. They didn't do anything. I threw it away. I didn't build a database.
Right. I remember you saying that.
Today, I would encourage anybody to build a database. So
yeah, that's everything. Yep.
Hey, so we do this for 20 minutes on Thursday morning. We just kind of, talk about a little bit of information. Hey, I want to tell you, so I just want people to know you and I met on Clubhouse on the 413. And if people are listening and they haven't experienced the 413, you need to get on Clubhouse, follow John, follow me. We'll follow you back and listen in at the 413. Now, originally that room was named 413 because that's when Steven started the room. However,
413 a.m. PST.
Yeah,
ridiculous early.
standard time, right?
I'm very grateful to be in Massachusetts.
So now Stephen starts the room at 5:40 Central Time, which is 6:40 your time, right, John?
Yeah.
And that's usually lunchtime for me, by the way, anyhow. And I'm an early
What
guy.
time do you wake up?
Yeah, I'm usually up by 4.
Okay.
So I'm usually up by 4. And then on the West Coast Pacific time, it's 3:40. So log on, come as John's guest to Clubhouse, and get up on stage, introduce yourself, tell Stephen that John invited you. But if you haven't experienced it, it's a great room. It's an eclectic group of people and individuals. It's not all real estate, and that's why I like it. And I've been there as long as I have, because it's not all real estate. There's people go ahead.
Yeah, I totally want to go say a word for it too. I've been coming. Stephen is a longtime friend. Well, for maybe a year and a half, a couple years now, I've known him. We met on social media, and this is the kind of things that you're looking for on social media. You're looking for real relationships that you develop over time, right? And or keep alive the relationships that you do have. You know what I mean? It's a great way to stay in touch with your mom. Not to replace the phone calls or the in-person, but to add to it. And so this guy, Stephen Michalski, has put together this room on Clubhouse, which is essentially audio group calls. And you can find an audio group call in the Clubhouse app for anything, whatever, if you're into cars or music. And he has this one every single day, 7 days a week. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs in there. And there's just kind of like pumping you up in the morning in a really realistic way. Like, here, okay, everybody, what's 4 things you're grateful for? You know what I mean? And people go around robin and share that. And it's a group of people who are coming back now over time and, asking these same simple questions every morning. But it's such a good way to start your day. I just love it. And I've made so many good relationships there. Here we are now. I was on the phone yesterday with Ife. I'm on the phone 24/7 with Steven. He burns up the phone lines like a madman. And, it's very empowering, if you're an entrepreneurial person, or if you're just looking for somebody, for relationships in your life to pump you up and stay positive and encouraged.
Absolutely. 100%. So I just encourage people to go there. John, tell people how they get a hold of you if they are in your market or move into your market or just want to pick your brain a little bit and try and get the 6 questions out of you.
Well, they just contact you, Mike, and say, hey, Mike, let's do business. By the way, how do I get a hold of John Snyder? Right. Do business with Mike. That's what I'm trying to say. It was a joke. It's supposed to be funny. It was supposed to be a funny plug for you. But do it. Do business with Mike. He's a great guy. He knows what the hell he's talking about. He'll get you out of Redfin if Redfin is dragging you down. But I put my tag there, my handle, John Snyder's Keys. That's across all social media. And then if you want to, or go to my website, which is johnsnyderskeys.com, which has all my social media links. It has nothing there but my social media links and my phone number, email.
Yeah, nice. So I'm excited about today. Listen, John, I appreciate you being here this morning, even
thank you.
In the midst of a little technology glitch and issue here. God, I love this platform. It's different than Zoom, and it's a nice platform. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move you to the waiting room. If you'd sit there for a minute, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody else, and I'll give you the 6 questions in that waiting room. And like I said, if anybody else wants them, they're going to have to deal with or call me directly. So
yeah, reach out to Mike. I really appreciate it. This is a great platform. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your calculations. And this is great.
Yeah, you bet, John. We'll keep talking too. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here this morning. This was episode number 2 of Thursday Morning Live. We're going to be here every morning at 8:30 Central. And what's interesting is the next couple of weeks, Thursday falls before Christmas Eve. So we'll be here the next couple of weeks. John and I talked about Stephen. Stephen's going to be on in the next week or 2. And we have some great guests lined up moving forward, some real entrepreneur conversations, some conversations about real estate and not conversations about real estate. I just enjoy being able to provide some content and give some feedback and give a message out there that might be some inspiration, might be some direction, could be some guidance. If you're looking for help, you can always reach me directly. I'm Mike at mycoreintentions.com. I'd love to network. I'd love to know what you're up to and what you're working on, and how I can maybe add value to your world and be of help to you. So everybody have a great day today. Have a great week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Thursday.